The moment Carter Hayes yanked Naomi Bennett by the collar, the entire cafeteria froze. 300 students, mid-bite, mid-laugh, mid-conversation, all turned to stone in the same instant as if time itself had stopped. But what stunned everyone even more was Naomi. She didn't scream. She didn't retreat. Not a single tear. Not a single plea. There was something about that girl, a strange composure in the stifling atmosphere, as if she had been waiting for this moment for a long time, as if she knew this code. No one in that room could have known that from this moment on, Westbrook High, a seemingly quiet suburban school, would never be the same again. And Naomi Benny. The story began 3 weeks earlier, the day Naomi walked through the school gates in a deep purple hoodie, gold hoop earrings catching the classroom lights, and her natural curls tied high with pride. She was the only black student in her class, and she knew exactly what that meant. No one needed to say it. No sympathetic glances were needed. Naomi was used to the whispers behind her back, the scrutinizing stares. But this time, she had no intention of bowing her head, and that was when the unimaginable began. Naomi was introduced to the class during Monday's literature period. Ms. Rodriguez tried to be friendly, but the classroom air remained cold. Eyes flicked past her, some curious, some wary, and some judging. From the back row, a voice rang out loud enough for everyone to hear. "Looks like they're trying to meet their diversity quota." It was Carter Hayes, the one everyone knew was untouchable in this school. A few muffled chuckles followed. Naomi heard every word, but she didn't react. No sigh, no retort. She simply looked straight at the board and walked to the empty seat near the window. Each of her steps echoed like silent punctuation marks in the heavy room, not because she was weak, but because she chose to observe before acting. The simmering tension grew more and more visible. During chemistry class, a coincidental bump caused Naomi's test tube to crash to the floor. Carter shrugged. "Guess someone should have taught you balance before letting you in here." No one laughed, but no one spoke up either. Naomi calmly bent down, picked up the shards, then looked up at him. "Good thing that wasn't your brain shattered. It'd be dangerous." The class went dead silent. From that day on, things got worse. Torn books, hidden backpacks, malicious notes constantly appearing. Naomi documented everything like she was collecting evidence for a trial, but she remained silent. Because she understood to change a system, you can't respond with raw emotion. In the quiet hallway at the end of the day, Destiny, the shy Asian girl who always sat in the corner, approached Naomi and whispered Carter's planning something. "I overheard." Naomi nodded, asking nothing further. She had already guessed. She just needed confirmation. Naomi wasn't just a smart girl. She was the daughter of a former Marine. Her father had taught her self-defense since she was 10. She knew how to wait and how to end it swiftly when needed. Naomi bore no hatred in her heart, but she had limits, and once those were crossed, she wasn't afraid to stand up. On Monday, Naomi opened her locker and found a stack of black and white photos, lynching images, hanging bodies, old yellowed photos with her face crudely pasted onto the victims. A terrifying silence engulfed her. She took them all to Principal Coleman's office. The woman glanced over them, sighed, and said, "There's no concrete evidence." Naomi just looked at her, said nothing, and walked out. That lunch, when Carter approached her table and ordered her to stand up, Naomi remained seated. "That's my seat," he barked. "I don't see your name on it," she replied. When he grabbed her collar, Naomi didn't hesitate. A wrist twist, a shift of balance, a calculated sweep of the leg. Carter hit the cafeteria floor hard. The first clap came from a far corner, then another and another, rising like a wave. But Naomi didn't bow. She simply stood calm, proud, and unafraid. The video of Naomi's takedown posted by Destiny on TikTok just hours later hit over 1 million views on the first night. Headlines erupted. Black student defends herself against white bully in high school, Naomi Bennett. The name stirring a generation. Principal Coleman could no longer remain silent. Carter Hayes was indefinitely suspended. His family hired lawyers, but every attempt was met with fierce backlash from parents, students, and alumni. A petition demanding policy reform on disciplinary actions and anti-racism drew over 70,000 signatures in just 3 days. Naomi declined interviews from major networks. Instead, she hosted an open forum at the school library. There, she detailed the events not in anger, not calling for violence, but calling for change. She founded the Stand Tall Club, a space for students to share their experiences with bullying, discrimination, and exclusion. From just 5 members, the club spread throughout the school. Principal Coleman stepped down after an investigation by the Education Board. A new progressive-minded principal was appointed at River Hill High School in Texas, where a student was forced to leave for wearing an anti-racism shirt. Naomi was invited to speak virtually. After her talk, over 400 students organized a silent walk across campus. Naomi's inspiration became a flame spreading across states New York, Illinois, California. Aaliyah Thompson, a white student from Oregon, sent Naomi a handwritten letter. "You gave me the courage to stand up when my classmate was bullied for being gay. I filmed it, shared it online, and I'm not afraid anymore." Naomi returned to Westbrook High in a new light. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, she was invited to speak before the entire school. On stage, she didn't talk about herself. She told the stories of those who had been bullied into silence and called for everyone to break that silence together. Every teacher stood and applauded. Students chanted her name. She wasn't the first Black girl to do something. She was the first to make everything change. And from that moment, school culture was never the same. The Human Rights Youth Alliance honored Naomi at their annual gala. She became the keynote speaker at a national conference on school justice. Many school districts began adopting the Stand Tall model based on the club Naomi founded. From an unknown girl, Naomi became a national inspiration. But she never claimed the glory. "If I could stand up, anyone can," she said in her end-of-year speech. 1 year after the cafeteria fell silent like a grave, Naomi Bennett walked across the graduation stage in her black robe, holding a gold-trimmed diploma bearing her name in bold pride. No more sneering glances. No sign of Carter Hayes, only unending applause and hundreds of eyes following her like a landmark. When invited to speak, she didn't recount the takedown. Instead, she spoke of the silence more dangerous than any blow. She spoke of the avoiding eyes, the whispered prejudice, and how real courage isn't throwing punches, but standing alone and saying enough. Then she paused, looking down at the front row where Destiny smiled with teary eyes. Behind her sat dozens of students who had once been bullied, silenced, but now stood tall because they saw Naomi do it first. "I'm no superhero," Naomi said. "I'm just a student tired of being silenced. And I chose not to be silent anymore." After the ceremony, she didn't go home right away. Naomi walked slowly through the school hallway, the place where she was once isolated, once surrounded by contempt. Now Carter Hayes' football team photo was gone. In its place hung a different image, the girl in the purple hoodie teaching self-defense to a group of students. At the bottom of the photo was a quote. She didn't just stand for herself. She made a generation rise. Naomi Bennett smiled. She knew that even after she left other kids, those once deemed outsiders would never walk alone again.